How is my audio as I move around? Am I making funky noises? Because I like to talk with my hands. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but I do. Audio seems good. Let's get this show on the road. That was weird. Hey, everybody. Today, we are going to review Tom MacDonald's brand new song. This is one that I have not yet seen before, and I'm so excited to check it out. I have decided that I am going to start pulling my deep dives away from my reaction videos. We'll do a reaction once a week, and then we'll do a deep dive once a week as well. So they'll be a little bit shorter, a little easier to digest, but still get that same awesome information out there to everyone. We're gonna jump right into Tom MacDonald today. This new song is called Dirty Money, and it came out today on YouTube. I love Tom MacDonald. Let's check out what awesomeness he's got for us today.
They're angry that they'll never shut me up. I'm making more noise. Turn me up or turn me down, it's your choice. Black lives only matter when they got a corpse to exploit. Cause the media made millions off the protests for George Floyd.
He is coming in hot again. The media made millions off of protests for George Floyd. It's so true. And so many people donated to the Black Lives Matter organization. And where did that money go? The funding did not go to help Black people in America. Unless you want to look at like the founder who now owns like 5 or 6 mansions or something crazy like that. If you guys have not watched The Greatest Lie Ever Told, which is a documentary put together by Candace Owens on the Daily Wire, that documentary exposes everything behind the Black Lives Matter organization. It is so eye-opening, and I highly, highly recommend watching it. The whole thing was a hoax, and so many people bought into it. It's crazy.
That's called ad revenue. They make cash selling you all the crap in the ads while they broadcast news. Ooh, the network full of liars got investment capital and segments sponsored by Pfizer.
The news is full of liars, and the segments are sponsored by Pfizer. It's so true. Big Pharma is owned by the elites, by Blackstone, Vanguard, State Street, all of those big companies we've talked about a few times already in these videos. That's who owns Pfizer and all of Big Pharma, really, and all they're doing is sponsoring themselves because they own the media too, and they're just generating more income for themselves. It's all about greed.
And the freedom fighters, I feel like the left just plants them to infiltrate the right. It's extensive planning.
There are a lot of freedom fighters that are real, but there are plants as well. And we all know now that January 6th was a hoax too, right? Like, we're on the same page with that they were invited in and then everyone screamed that it was an insurrection. It wasn't. It was totally a setup, and the media twisted everything to fit the narrative that they wanted to portray. Because that's what they do. Because they're liars. Cool.
Then it happens overnight. It's impressive branding. Make $1 million off of shirts that say "Let's Go Brandon."
No, I do have to say I agree with the sentiment of "Let's Go Brandon." I find it hilarious. But it's true that that's just been capitalized on and making millions off of that too. Again, as we have said so many times in these videos, there's no right and left. It's two different wings to the same bird. Either side that we're fighting on, we're playing into their hand.
And it's a cash grab. Everyone's a lab rat. Amazon made billions of dollars from sanitizer and black masks, and that's that. Funny how the terrorists who attack always come from places that are oil rich and have gas.
Isn't that funny that that's always where terrorists come from, are places that have resources that our leadership wants? Just a coincidence, though, of course.
Democrats, they don't give a damn. What is this about? Our military trapped in the Middle East, can't get them out. Heroes are the ones who had the Constitution written down. Y'all are using hero while describing Kyle Rittenhouse.
I love that Tom does not only pick on one side. Not that he's picking on anybody, but I love that he is so middle ground, and he's like, let's use common sense all around. I'm not left or right. I'm not Republican or Democrat. Like, and Tom, it seems, is the same way too. I mean, obviously I've never met the man, but in the way that he presents himself, he's very middle ground. I think that what Kyle Rittenhouse did was fantastic as far as protecting himself. He had every right to be there. He had every right to defend himself. He attempted multiple times to get away from his attackers, and they kept on coming, and he had to stop the threat in order to protect his own life. Does that make him a hero? No. He did what he had to do, what any of us would do to protect ourselves and to protect our family. But I don't think that necessarily makes him a hero. I think a hero is someone who runs into a burning building to save people, military who goes overseas to defend our freedoms, police officers who run toward gunshots in order to actively save people. Those are heroes, not one teenage boy who defended himself. Which, good on him that he wasn't prosecuted and that he got a good payday and all that kind of stuff, but he just became another pawn in the system too. That was another way to create division.
1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cents, 4. We get less and they get more. By insult since we were born. They want money. We want dirty dollars fill their pockets while our coffins fill the ground. They make profits solving problems they create to keep us down.
Oh, they make profits solving problems they create to keep us down. If you know anything about history, you have seen that again and again and again and again. This pandemic that we just survived, the big pharma and Amazon, as he's pointed out, made billions off of that, while we lost our jobs for not getting juiced, where people were sick and dying, all so that they could get richer. It's 100% dirty money.
Dirty money. Dirty money. I don't want your dirty money. They might kill me for this song, it's all classified intelligence. Don't need to go to war to secretly be getting benefits. When Russia launches rockets, we condemn them, but there's evidence a US politician owns the screws they're assembled with.
I love when he throws these like little tiny nuggets at you and then just runs by it, like just keeps on going after he's checked something like that. There's a US politician that owns the company who manufactures the screws that the Russians are using on the rockets, and everybody's freaking out that Russia has this, but the US politician is helping them because it lines his pocket. Because it's all about greed. It's all about greed. That's the purpose of the elites. That's the purpose of the media. That's the purpose of big corporations. That's our country is run on greed at this point.
Ain't no war on drugs, it's economic. You make money off an inmate, every jail cell is profit.
Yes, most jails are privatized institutions. So there's an interview that I've seen, and if I can find the video, I'll put it in here. But Dr. Dre's group, NWA, was actually invited to a meeting before gangster rap became as huge as it is today. And the music producers wanted them to push this gangster agenda, this gangster lifestyle, so that normal people like us would start emulating that, and we would start becoming criminals, and then they would get more people in jail, which then puts more money in the pockets of those that own the jail.
That these prisons were built by privately owned companies who receive funding from the government based on the number of inmates.
Mm-hmm.
The more inmates, the more the government would pay these prisons.
Mm-hmm.
It was also made clear to us that since these prisons are privately owned, as they become publicly traded, we'd be able to buy shares. Most of us were taken back by this. Again, a couple of people asked what this had to do with us. At this point, my industry colleague who had first opened the meeting took the floor again and answered our questions. He told us that since our employees had become silent investors in this prison business, it was now in their interest to make sure that these prisons remain filled. Our job would be to help make this happen by making music which promote criminal behavior, rap being the music of choice.
The war on drugs, why do we have open borders? It's so that drugs can get through, so that we have more criminals, so there's more people in jail, and it's so that they can traffic people. If you've never researched any of this stuff, I know what I'm saying probably sounds a little bit outlandish. However, if you start asking questions and you start following that trail, and you get an answer here, but that creates more question, or maybe you find out that there's this one person involved, but who is that person? How did they become involved? And you keep going down those rabbit holes and asking those questions, and everything starts to connect in a way that it's never connected before. When we are in the system mentally, we just accept what they tell us as truth. And when we start stepping back and asking questions and really looking at things analytically, we recognize that things are not what they seem, and that there's an agenda behind all of the stuff that we are seeing, toys and television shows and movies and music and makeup and the food that we eat and the different businesses that are pushed and the restaurants that we go to, all of these things are part of this bigger agenda, this bigger system, and all of it connects together. It's wild once you start opening your eyes and seeing all of these things for what it really is. So I encourage you to ask questions and do research.
Our prisons are privately owned. Illegal marijuana just mean kids smoking weed turn to dollars in their pockets, let's be honest. Domestic threats in comparison to nuclear powers who hate the West is embarrassing. Still we label truckers in the convoy as terrorists and confiscate donations. We have no idea where it is.
Yes! If you guys don't know what he's talking about there, the truckers in Canada, because they were being told that due to COVID, they were not allowed to work anymore. If a trucker's wheels are not turning, they are not making money, which means they can't support their families. The truckers in Canada protested and did a big convoy of trucks saying, this isn't okay, let us do our jobs. There was a GoFundMe account that was set up for those truckers. GoFundMe decided that it was not okay for them to be sending money for these truckers to support their families because it didn't support the agenda. More than $6 million were raised for those truckers. And as of today, right now, April 28th, 2023, GoFundMe has released about $1 million of it. So what happened to the other $5 million that was supposed to go to help those truckers? And who is GoFundMe to decide where the money can go? The whole idea is people helping people. Who cares what it's for?
Pipeline leaks, price of gas goes higher. Stock market crash, everybody gets fired. Economy is weak while we trying to beat a virus. $1 trillion in debt to China.
$1 trillion in debt to China? Absolutely. The Federal Reserve Bank says federal in it, but it is not a government entity. That is a privately owned entity by the big banking families, such as JP Morgan, Rockafeller, Rothschilds. That's who this country owes money to. Like we talk about, we're in so much debt. Yeah, we are. Not just to China, but also to these private entities. And if we're in that much debt to them, they control our country. They control the politicians. They make decisions for our country. We are not the constitutional republic that we were designed to be anymore because we are indebted to these elites, and the elites run the show now.
We celebrate the smallest battles we're winning so they can publish the headline that's gonna fuel the vision. But if we champion the crumbs, then it's crumbs that we're given. And we don't make any progress, we're stuck at the beginning. 1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cents, 4. We get less and they get more. By insult since we were born. They want money. Dirty dollars fill their pockets while our coffins fill the ground. They make profits, solving problems they create to keep us down. Dirty money. Dirty money. I don't want your dirty money.
I just realized he's standing in front of the White House with a giant pile of money. The symbolism and the visual right there of calling out our politicians and the dirty money that our country is run on is so good.
Not enough soap to scrub, it's soaked in blood. It's all about the money, 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 money. Every time we make a buck, they take from us.
Every time we make a buck, they take from us. They tax us on the money that we make, and then anytime we use that money, they tax us again. It's crazy how much taxes is being taken. If they can keep us sick, if they can keep us in debt, if they can keep us poor, and if they can keep us dumb, that's how they control us. So it's our responsibility to keep ourselves healthy. It's our responsibility to get out of debt and to save money for a rainy day. And it's our responsibility to educate ourselves and ask questions.
It's all about the money, 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 money. The dollar runs our lives until we die. It's all about the money, 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 money. It controls your mind and it controls mine. Dirty dollars fill their pockets while our coffins fill the ground. They make profits, solving problems they create to keep us down. Dirty money. Dirty money. I don't want your dirty money.
As usual, So good. I love the work that Tom MacDonald and Nova Rockafeller do together. They are a fantastic duo. And I like that he doesn't just like spoon feed all the information to us, that he drops a nugget that gets your brain going and makes you start questioning. And then it's our responsibility to go and dive in and ask those questions and figure out, wait, what did he mean by that? Thank you guys so much for watching this song that tried to tell us. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you want more of these deep dives and song reactions. Have a fantastic day, everybody. The Otter Mama signing out. Okay.